A historic landmark built back in the 1800s is now in ruins. White's Bridge caught fire, burned completely, fell down into the water this morning, and police believe this all may have been done on purpose. The bridge is just north of Richmond Road in Ionia County's Keene Township. The Sheriff's Department is calling it all an arson, a criminal investigation right now. Fire officials say it's too soon to be for sure. 24-hour News 8's Mark Thompson spoke with residents who are just in disbelief about this.
White's Bridge had straddled the Flat River since 1867, the oldest covered bridge still in use in Michigan. But this morning it took only a few hours for a piece of history to burn to ashes.
I think it's a tragedy if someone did this on purpose.
In waves they came to pay their respects and question why.
It's devastating, you know, it kind of breaks your heart that somebody has stole something from the community, not from you personally, but you know, from the community.
But White's Bridge is personal for Pete Odland, so much so that years ago he wrote a poem about it.
Ambassador from another time, artistic as a poet's rhyme, bridge that spans the elusive tide where it seems that facts persist to hide.
For 22 years he lived just down the road, his mailbox actually in the bridge.
If we could talk, the stories it could tell, you know. And
his uncle owning the property 50 years before him.
There was a carving in the bridge of a guy that he remembered, Charlie Compton, and it said 1893 it was carved in. I often would walk in there and look at that.
As for the fire itself, Building Chief Greg Moore says that it was first reported by a newspaper carrier around 5 o'clock this morning.
There was still flames, very small flames.
But by the time crews arrived, it had already burned through and crashed into the river. As for arson,
don't know where that came from for sure, but you know, something we'll look into.
But the chief says there's no doubt it's suspicious. After all, until now, it's weathered just about everything. A few years ago, a drunk driver caused major damage when he crashed into it. It's a popular launching point for canoes and kayaks and a convenient local crossover from Lowell to the M21 corridor.
We can rebuild a replica, but we can't rebuild White's covered bridge. I mean, it's just gone forever.
In Ionia County, Mark Thompson, 24-hour News 8.
The police chief has called in the state fire marshal, and both will inspect the damage tomorrow morning. He says investigators are going to be looking at all possibilities here, including the possibility that fireworks had something to do with this, and of course some of the more sinister possibilities.